Revealed, the incredible story of a millionaire's hidden heart, uncovered by one touching encounter. Maplewood was a town sewn together by kindness, where warm smiles flitted across porches and the comforting scent of fresh-baked pies wafted through the air. But amidst the cheerful chaos, there lived a man whose wealth hung over the community like a storm cloud. Jack Reynolds, the self-made millionaire, whose very name stirred whispers of arrogance and aloofness. At 45, Jack had built a tech empire but remained shrouded in mystery, walking the streets like a ghost in a vibrant world. The locals saw him as distant, a figure whose success felt less like a bridge and more like an insurmountable chasm. Sarah, a single mother of 32, knew this all too well. Juggling 2 jobs, she fought tooth and nail to provide for her spirited son, Ethan. On a sultry afternoon at the school fundraiser, laughter erupted, and Ethan's art project burst forth in a whirlwind of color, sending the principal's prized lemonade stand tumbling. Chaos reigned, and in that tempest, Jack emerged, though light flickered in Sarah's heart, uncertain if it was valor or privilege masquerading as heroism. "Watch it," Sarah snapped, heart racing and fists clenched, as Jack stepped forward. She read him like an open book, the rich man swooping in to rescue the less fortunate, as the community watched with bated breath. But he didn't retaliate, instead, his facade crumbled. Jack's eyes revealed a profound loneliness, a yearning for connection that tugged at something deep within Sarah. Around cups of coffee at the bustling school cafeteria, conversations transformed their lives. Jack laid bare his estrangement from his brother, that dead weight of resentment thickening the air between them. Sarah, too, shared her struggles, nights spent balancing bills, her relentless attempts to make magic out of thin air for Ethan. As they unveiled their scars, it was clear they shared resilience, loyalty, and a longing for familial bonds long since lost in the waves of responsibility. But just as Jack began to feel a glimmer of belonging, disaster struck. A catastrophic financial crisis engulfed Maplewood, shutters clanging down on local businesses. Despair crashed over the community like a tide, and a town meeting loomed, an arena for anger, accusations, and fear. Jack felt the weight of his wealth pressing down on him like an anchor, dragging him toward the depths. Could he finally dismantle the wall that separated him from the warm town? Would he still choose to act? As voices rose in frustration, Jack stepped forward, heart pounding, gaze steady. "I'm here to help," he declared, the room going dead silent. "I pledge funds to revitalize this town." Gasps washed over the crowd, hope mingling with disbelief. Sarah's eyes met Jack's, a cocktail of uncertainty brewed within her, but beneath it shimmered something unexpected: respect. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet, as murmurs of the town's old prejudices bubbled up, questions lingered. Could Jack truly overcome the chasm of resentment to connect with those he once alienated? Or would his pledge echo hollow against the walls that divided them? As the community held its breath, the future of Maplewood dangled on the brink of uncertainty, igniting the fascinating question: could redemption be found in a town deeply scarred by division, or would the past forever shadow their chance for unity? Jack's words hung in the air like ripe fruit, heavy with promise and vulnerability. The silence drew taut, but behind the stairs, doubt simmered. A few members of the town board exchanged skeptical glances, others shifted uncomfortably in their seats, the skepticism palpable. "I don't trust him," muttered Leo, a local mechanic, arms crossed defiantly. "What's in it for him?" "Yeah," chimed in Doris, a longtime resident with graying hair and a sharp tongue. "He'll just swoop in, throw around his cash, and then disappear like he always does." A sense of dread crept into Jack's chest. This was precisely the kind of lingering animosity he had feared. But he couldn't turn back now. He had made a choice, not just out of obligation to the community but for himself. He had felt the warmth of connection with Sarah, the laughter of children, and the affectionate way neighbors looked out for one another. He wanted to be part of it, to belong. "Please," he said, his voice wavering slightly but resolute. "I don't want to just throw money at problems. I want to work with you together to figure this out." Jack's gaze roamed the crowd, searching for a flicker of trust, perhaps even hope. And then Sarah stood up. The murmurs stilled, shifting attention. "Give him a chance," she urged, her voice steady. "I've seen a side of Jack that I never expected. He's trying to help, not just with money, but to connect." Jack's heart soared. Did Sarah truly believe in him? She had been the first to see beneath his surface. But how do we know it won't be more of the same? Leo challenged, still frowning. "We've all seen those big promises before. Look where it got us." "The truth is," Sarah replied, her voice rising now, "we can keep blaming each other while the town crumbles, or we can choose to stand together. Jack is willing to put himself out there, and I think we owe it to ourselves to see where this leads." The town meeting felt electric, the air thick with tension and possibility. Slowly, nods began to ripple through the crowd. Jack could feel a shift, a glimmer of open-mindedness tugging at the resistance. "And if he fails?" Leo shot back, unwilling to back down. "If he fails," Sarah responded, standing tall, "then at least we tried something, together." The weight of their collective history hung in the air, but for the first time, it felt like a burden they could all share. Jack focused on Sarah, feeling rooted in her fervor. "Let us do this," he said firmly. "Let us have community meetings to develop plans. I'll provide funding, but only if we collaborate. I want to hear what you all need." In that moment, a flicker of hope ignited within Jack. Others began to murmur agreement. The transformative power of unity sparked an undeniable energy as they started sharing thoughts around how they envisioned revitalizing Maplewood, building a future rather than endlessly looking back. Yet, with hope came trepidation. The fear of past failures lingered like an unwelcome shadow. Would the townsfolk truly rally behind Jack and create the change they desperately needed? As ideas flowed, uncertainty danced on lips. The question remained, could trust be rebuilt in a community once frayed and torn apart? Jack's heart raced. He felt the weight of responsibility. Would his investment in their reconciliation bear fruit? As the meeting wrapped up, Jack caught Sarah's eye, and a rush of gratitude washed over him. He was stepping out of the storm cloud, risking everything for a chance to belong. But just as hope ignited in their hearts, the tension snapped back. A rumor brewed that could shatter their fragile progress. A secret from Jack's past was about to surface, one that could turn the tides against him. What explosive truths lay hidden, waiting for the right moment to emerge? The meeting dispersed slowly, like smoke curling in the air. Jack could still feel the weight of the lingering stares, the doubts not entirely assuaged. He turned to Sarah, thanking her with a nod, which she returned with a warm smile. It was a small gesture, but it ignited something inside him, a flicker of courage. They stepped outside together, the evening sky painted in hues of orange and pink. The sun hung low, casting long shadows over Maplewood's dilapidated storefronts. For the first time, the town felt alive to Jack, not just as a setting for his project but as a tapestry of dreams, fears, and potential. "Do you really think they'll come around?" he asked Sarah, trying to mask his anxiety. "They will," she affirmed, her voice gentle but firm. "You just need to show them you're not like the others." Jack nodded. As the winds carried whispers of promise, the fear of past betrayals lingered in his mind. What Sarah didn't know was the truth of his history, a truth that could shatter any trust he might build here. As they walked alongside the old park, the sounds of children playing echoed in the distance. For a fleeting moment, Jack allowed himself to breathe, to revel in the warmth of connection he felt with Sarah, and with the town. But as they turned the corner, a familiar face loomed ahead. It was Leo, leaning against the rusted chain-link fence that separated the park from the street. His arms were crossed, his brows knit in suspicion. "What do you want, Leo?" Jack asked, exhaling sharply. "Just checking in," Leo replied with a tilt of his head. "Listen, you think you can just walk in and fix everything? We've seen the likes of your kind before." A knot tightened in Jack's stomach. Defensively, he opened his mouth to respond, but Sarah interjected. "Leo, he just wants to help. Let him show you." Leo's icy stare shifted between the two, a silent dance of tension. "Helping? Sure sounds generous. News travels fast, Jack. Your past people remember things. They're not going to just forget." "Enough," Jack snapped, causing Sarah to step back slightly. The intensity of his own voice surprised him. "What do you want from me? You want me to lay everything out on the table? To show you all the times I failed, all the mistakes I've made? I could do that. But what's the point? Isn't it better to try to do something good now?" The fire in Jack's voice hung in the space between them, crackling with unresolved emotions. Sarah's eyes widened, filled with a mixture of concern and admiration. Leo took a step closer, their eyes locking. "What do you think the town needs? It's all talk unless you put in some real work. And remember, Jack, if you betray their trust, this community will turn on you." Jack felt raw and exposed. The walls he thought he had begun to scale now seemed to close in, yet he couldn't back away. "I'm trying to earn that trust," he replied, his voice steadied by determination. Leo studied him for a moment, and then his expression softened slightly, as if weighing Jack's sincerity. "I know Sarah believes in you. Maybe I'll give you your shot, but tread carefully." With that, Leo turned and walked away. Jack turned to Sarah. "Do you think he's right?" "I think you have a chance," she said emphatically. "But you need to show them who you really are." He swallowed hard, realizing that this journey was just beginning. As shadows fell deeper around them, the weight of his secret loomed heavier. Could he reveal the truth about his past before it found him? Would the townsfolk, even Sarah, still stand by him if they knew? In the distance, there was laughter and the sound of children playing, a stark contrast to the turmoil in his heart. Could he really be a part of this community, or was he bound to drag his past like a shadow? A shiver ran down his spine. The moment of revelation was drawing near, and he could feel the ground beneath shifting. What would happen when the truth finally came to light? The night settled over Maplewood, wrapping the town in a tender stillness. Jack and Sarah lingered a moment outside the park, the laughter of children fading into the distance as dusk crept in, casting a veil over the old streets. Jack felt the weight of anticipation pressing down on him. He wanted to break the silence, but the words clung to the back of his throat like a stubborn secret. "I didn't mean to snap at Leo," he finally said, his voice low and shaky. I can't have them thinking I'm the same person I was before." Sarah stepped closer, her gaze steady. "If you want to change things here, you have to let them see the real you. Not just the good parts." He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture of frustration. "What if the real me is the one they fear? What if they only see my mistakes? There's more to you than your past, Jack. You know that." Her words were a balm, soothing and confident. "Embrace it, own it. That's how you start to build trust." Easier said than done, he muttered, the shadows of their conversation hanging in the air. "What if I fail? Then you pick yourself up and try again. That's what real courage is." With a gentle nudge, she shifted his focus from doubt to hope. A flicker of warmth spread through Jack's chest. Her encouragement felt like a lighthouse guiding him home through a fierce storm. "Where do I even start?" he asked, genuinely seeking a lifeline. A slow smile danced on Sarah's lips. "How about the town meeting next week? Show them you're willing to listen, to be a part of the solution. You could even invite Leo to participate." It could help bridge that gap. He sighed, weighing the idea. I can't keep running from my past. Sooner or later, it's going to catch up with me. But until it does, you have a chance to create something new, she said, her voice firm and unwavering. You owe it to yourself and to this town. They lingered a moment longer, and Jack admired how the streetlights flickered on, casting soft halos of light that brightened the darkening world around them. There was beauty in his uncertainty, an invitation to begin again. Jack reached for Sarah's hand, squeezing it lightly, appreciating the bond they were forming. They were navigating these uncharted waters together. Thank you for believing in me, he whispered, guilt still gnawing at him. I believe in who you can become, she replied, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. As they turned to walk back towards the heart of the town, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was changing inside him. Each step echoed with possibility, fueling the flicker of courage he felt earlier. The evening grew cooler, and uncertainty tinged the air. Each breath was filled with anticipation of the work ahead and the shadows that still loomed. But as they passed by the community center, they noticed a cluster of people gathered outside, voices raised. A familiar figure from Jack's past emerged, stepping out into the light of a nearby street lamp. The sight froze Jack's heart. Is that Sarah? Began, her voice trailing off as recognition washed over her. Jack felt the familiar chill course through him. His past was charging back, uninvited and unyielding. The next move he made could change everything. Who is that? Sarah whispered, concern flooding her tone. He had to decide what to reveal about the person standing there, and about himself. Could he face the ghosts he thought he had left behind? With his heart pounding, Jack felt the weight of the moment press down on him. Was he ready to confront his past, or would it crumble the fragile trust he'd begun to build? Jack's breath hitched in his throat, his pulse quickening. He fought the impulse to retreat, to hide in the shadows like he once did. He had spent so long crafting the facade of change, yet here it was, the very thing he had been avoiding. The figure stepped into the light, a face only time could erase. Ryan, Jack finally breathed, the name a whisper of dread. He had thought Ryan was nothing more than a ghost of a bygone era. The weight of their shared history pressed down as memories flashed before his eyes, truths too painful to revisit. Do you think he saw us? Sarah asked, scanning Jack's face. Her eyes were wide with concern, an anchor in the storm of Jack's thoughts. Jack shook his head, the movements heavy like lead. Does it matter? He knows where to find me, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. But a tremor slipped through, betraying him. Maybe he wants to talk, Sarah encouraged softly, but Jack could hear the quiet worry threaded through her words. Did Ryan want to talk? Or did he just want to stir up old chaos? Ryan's laughter boomed from the crowd, the sound like nails on a chalkboard to Jack. It took him back to a time when laughter was filled with camaraderie, before betrayal carved paths between them. The group leaned in, eager to hear Ryan's stories, his charisma drawing them closer, while Jack felt himself shrinking away. I can't face him, Sarah. Not now, Jack admitted, panic tightening his chest. Memories of their last encounter consumed him. Arguments that had turned to shouts, friendships that had turned to ashes. Then don't, Sarah replied, her tone gentle but insistent. You define how this plays out. You've come so far, Jack. Jack peered into the crowd, watching Ryan. The man wore confidence like a coat, his gestures animated, laughter infectious. Everything Jack had longed for during his darkest days. Yet, as he desperately scanned the faces surrounding Ryan, he felt something creeping up within him, an urge to show he wasn't afraid anymore. Maybe if I confront him, then Jack's thought faltered. Was this really the path he wanted to tread? Rehashing old wounds or reasoning it out? You're not the same person you were, remember? Sarah reminded him. You have choices now. You can stand up to him or walk away. Jack's heart raced. The thought of standing up to Ryan brewed a mix of hope and fear. Was it possible to turn a confrontation into a conversation? Could he face the ghosts of his past without crumbling? He shifted from one foot to the other, caught in a whirlwind of emotion. "I don't want to relive that nightmare," Jack whispered, turning to Sarah. The fear was palpable in his voice. "Then rewrite the ending," she encouraged, her eyes filled with conviction. "Show him how far you've come." Swallowing hard, Jack took a tentative step forward, the decision hanging in the air like a fragile promise. Just as he was about to call out to Ryan, tension crackled in the air. Was he truly ready for this? Suddenly, the crowd shifted as someone shouted. The commotion turned Jack's attention back to the front. An unexpected jolt of recognition surged through him, and he realized not only was Ryan back, but so was the very reason he had run. "Jack!" Ryan's voice rang out, richer than any memory. The crowd parted, revealing an unexpected truth. "Just the man I wanted to see." Jack's heart lurched. There was no turning back now. Did he dare face the man he had spent years trying to forget? Or was this the chance he needed to finally let go of the past? Tomorrow, he would find out. Jack stood frozen as the crowd parted. Ryan's presence felt like a tidal wave crashing over him, dragging him back to a time filled with confusion and hurt. His heart raced, a mix of terror and determination brewing within. This could be the moment he had both dreaded and yearned for. "Hey, Jack!" Ryan called out again, his grin as bright as Jack remembered. But beneath that smile, Jack sensed the shadows of their past flitting like specters. Each letter of his name fell like an anchor, pulling Jack back down into the deep waters of their shared history. The chatter around them faded into a distant hum. Sarah's grip on Jack's arm tightened, grounding him. He could feel her concern like a warm blanket, but he also sensed her encouragement. This was his moment to choose. Ryan swaggered through the crowd, each step a challenge, a bait, or maybe even a lifeline. "I didn't think you'd show up. It's been 3 years?" Ryan's voice softened for a brief moment, and Jack noticed the flicker of something less familiar, nostalgia, perhaps. Jack swallowed hard, thoughts racing. What did Ryan want? Did he truly miss him, or was this just another game? He clenched his fists, heart beating loudly in his chest. "What do you want, Ryan?" he managed to say, his voice steadier than he felt. "Just to talk," Ryan replied, an easy smile playing on his lips. "I know things ended poorly. But we were best friends, right? We should fix this." Jack bristled. "Fix what? Years of betrayal and heartache?" Did Ryan think words could heal everything? The crowd shifted again, eyes flitting from Jack to Ryan and back, hungry for some drama they hadn't anticipated. Jack felt their stares like a spotlight on his back. He could feel the weight of their expectation. "I don't know if it's that simple," Jack said, glancing at Sarah. Her steady gaze urged him to say more. To dig deeper. He took a breath, trying to summon the courage he had worked so hard to build. "Look, Ryan, you don't get to just waltz back into my life and pretend like everything's fine. You hurt me, you hurt everyone." The words came flooding out, fueled by memories he had carefully stuffed away. Faces of friends lost to lies and whispers, the paralyzing loneliness he had felt when Ryan walked away. Ryan's smile faltered, an actual crack showing through the confident exterior. "I know I messed up. I just can't we move past this? I've changed, Jack. I'm not that guy anymore." "People don't just change overnight," Jack countered, feeling the fire ignite within him. "It takes a long time. And sometimes, people don't come back from what they've done." Ryan took a step closer, eyes searching Jack's face. "You think I don't regret it? I haven't stopped thinking about it. I've been trying to make things right, but I guess I'm not sure how." The honesty in Ryan's voice caught Jack off guard. What if he was being truthful? But could he trust him again? That question hovered like a ghost between them. As Jack breathed in deep, he cast a glance at Sarah. She offered an encouraging nod, as if to say, "You know what you need to do." In that moment, Jack realized this wasn't just about confronting Ryan. It was about confronting himself, who he had become since those dark days, and what that meant going forward. "Let us sit down," Jack finally suggested, a hint of resolve settling in. "We need to talk this out. But you better be ready for the truth." As he turned to lead the way, Jack felt a weight lift, but other shadows stirred within him. Was he truly prepared to unravel the threads of their past? Could this be the moment that changed everything for both of them? As they moved to a quieter corner, Jack took a breath. Tomorrow might bring them closer, or it might tear them apart again. Either way, he was ready to face the consequences of his decisions. But little did he know, Ryan had a secret of his own, a truth he had never mentioned, hidden beneath the layers they were about to peel back. What lay ahead could change everything all over again. Jack set the pace as they made their way to the secluded table in the back of the bustling cafe. The air felt thick with tension, each step echoing with unspoken words and memories that clawed at the edges of his mind. He could hear the faint clinking of cups and the laughter of other patrons, but their sounds barely registered in his consciousness. All he could focus on was Ryan's presence beside him, the way he walked slightly slower, as if testing the waters of trust. They settled into the worn chairs, eyes locking for the first time since that fateful day. Jack's palms were clammy, heart racing again, but this time it was different. It was mixed with a strange sense of hope that perhaps something good could bloom from this awkward reunion. "So," Ryan began, his voice softer now. "Where do we start?" Jack opened his mouth to respond, but the words caught in his throat. The past was a tangled mess that felt too heavy to lift alone. "You hurt a lot of people, Ryan. It wasn't just me." His voice wavered, emotions just beneath the surface, threatening to spill forth. "I know. I know." Ryan raked a hand through his messy hair, frustration flashing across his face. I thought I could change everything for us, make it better, but I was too caught up in my own life. I didn't realize the mess I left behind until it was too late." Jack felt a spark of sympathy, but it was quickly drowned by anger. "You didn't just walk away. You took everything we had, every trust we built. You turned our friends against each other because of your lies. I had to watch everyone drift apart while trying to pick up the pieces alone." Ryan's look turned earnest, as if straining against a tide of regret. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. Please believe me. I was scared of losing everything, the friendship, the connection. I thought pushing you away would save you from the chaos I was wrapped in." "Scared?" Jack echoed, a hint of disbelief creeping into his voice. "Scared isn't an excuse for betrayal. Sorry doesn't fix a broken foundation." He could feel the warmth of anger in his cheeks, but beneath it, there was a flicker of curiosity. Why did Ryan look genuinely remorseful? "Then let me make it right," Ryan urged. His eyes were intense, pleading. "I'm not the same kid who left. I want to show you that. I want to help." Jack crossed his arms. "Help how? You don't even know if I want that. You might just be looking for redemption, not true friendship." "You're right," Ryan conceded, his voice a whisper. "But even if it's for myself, it's still a part of me wanting you to see I'm trying. I just hope you'll let me prove it." The air between them felt charged, heavy with the possibility of forgiveness and understanding. Yet doubt lingered like a shadow in Jack's heart. Could Ryan really change? What if he was opening a door that should stay locked? The risk felt monumental, and Jack's resolve was wearing thin. Just then, Sarah appeared at the edge of their table, sipping her drink with an inquisitive glance. "Hey, I didn't mean to interrupt, but is everything okay?" Jack looked between Sarah and Ryan. The formulating resolution within him was caught in limbo, spinning with uncertainty. We're just talking," he said, the words tasting bitter. "Talking, huh?" Sarah raised an eyebrow, scanning Jack's face for a hint of his inner turmoil. Just be careful, Jack. People can surprise you in unexpected ways. But they can also let you down again. Jack nodded, his mind whirling. What if the truth Ryan concealed could change everything? What if it could finally explain the unspeakable hurt, the name that echoed in Jack's mind like a haunting melody? As he inhaled deeply, preparing to press Ryan for more, the unease deepened. This could either be the moment they finally find peace, or it could lead them back into the abyss. What is it that you're not telling me? Jack finally pressed, his voice steady. Ryan hesitated, eyes widening slightly. The weight of secrets hung in the air, electricity swirling around them. What had he been hiding this whole time? Jack could feel the questions clawing at his insides. Ryan took a breath, determination burning in his gaze. All right, I'll tell you. But first, you need to be ready to hear it, because it changes everything. As Jack leaned closer, heart pounding in silence, he couldn't shake the feeling this was not just a conversation, it was the beginning of a revelation that could shatter what little foundation they had left. Jack held his breath, feeling the weight of Ryan's words settle heavily on his chest. The tension in the little cafe seemed to fade away, replaced by an electric anticipation, as if the universe itself was waiting for Ryan to speak. So, what is it? Jack asked, his voice barely above a whisper, the fury of the past now simmering under a layer of curiosity. What can possibly be so significant that it would change everything? Ryan hesitated, his brow furrowing as he searched for the right words. It's about my family. The reason I left wasn't just about me. He rubbed his temples, as if trying to ease the pressing thoughts clouding his mind. You remember my brother, right? Liam. Jack nodded, trying to recall the details of a boy who once seemed invincible to him. Yeah, he was. What does he have to do with this? Ryan swallowed hard. Liam wasn't just my brother, he was my best friend. And when I left, Ryan's voice trembled. He fell into a dark place. I thought I was saving myself, but all I did was push him deeper into his own demons. Jack's heart sank while piecing together the fragments. What happened? He got involved with some bad people, Ryan continued, his voice thick with emotion. I thought I could escape from it all, but Liam wasn't as lucky. He tried to reach out after I was gone, but I didn't answer. I was so lost in my own misery that I shut him out completely. Jack instinctively leaned forward, the chaos of their past morphing into a murky water of pain. You didn't know? No. Ryan exclaimed, eyes glistening with unshed tears. I didn't know until the call came that night. They said he was gone. I never got the chance to make things right. And now, I feel like I lost him because of my choices. The confession hung between them, raw and laden with grief. Jack's thoughts spiraled, a mixture of understanding and his own resentment. The choice to leave had cost Ryan a part of his life, yes, but what about everyone else who got caught in the crossfire? You've been carrying this weight alone. More than you know, Ryan admitted, his admission a storm of guilt and desperation in his voice. I came back hoping to find some way to honor him, to make things right. Maybe if I could repair the friendships I broke, I could. Jack interrupted, frustration bubbling to the surface. But do you really think that will make up for it? You can't just step back into everyone else's lives and expect all the pain to vanish. I know. Ryan replied, running his hands through his hair, clearly agitated. I'm just trying to be better. I can't change the past, but I want to try and rebuild. For Liam, for you, for all of us. The cafe seemed to grow quieter around them, patrons fading into the background as Jack wrestled with his turmoil. He wanted to hate Ryan for leaving but found himself empathizing with his pain. Torn between anger and compassion, he felt lost in a whirlpool of conflicting emotions. Are you sure you're ready for this? He finally said, a challenge more than a question. Are you ready to really deal with what you've done? It's not just me who has been hurt. Ryan met his gaze, a spark of determination igniting within him. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. Even if it means facing those I've wronged and admitting my faults, I won't hide anymore. I owe it to them, especially to Liam. Jack found himself pondering the possibility. Could this path of redemption actually lead to something stronger than before? Just then, Sarah chimed in again, her voice cautious yet firm. If you're going to do this, just know it won't be easy. Sometimes the truth brings pain before healing. I'm ready for that, Ryan stated, steady now, a new sense of purpose radiating from him. Jack's heart pounded as decision loomed before him. He could feel the door of possibility creaking open, but was he truly ready to step through? What if we confront this together? He suggested, uncertainty lacing his words. I can't promise forgiveness right away, but I want to help you face the past. Ryan's expression softened, gratitude spilling from his eyes. That's all I ask, but I need you to know this isn't just about us anymore. It's about everyone else, too. There are so many hurt feelings, and I need help navigating that. Jack nodded slowly, a new determination rising within him. Then let us do it. Let us face this together. As they made eye contact, a glint of hope flickered between them. Just then, a familiar voice interrupted their moment. Jack. Ryan. It was Dave, an old friend whose presence sparked adrenaline-fueled memories. Jack felt the swoop of apprehension set in again. Would this confrontation bring more pain, or would the healing finally begin? Hey. We need to talk, Dave said, gathering their attention. Jack's heart raced. He turned to Ryan, anxiety bubbling back to the surface. What now? As they exchanged uneasy glances, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the truth they waited for was about to crash into their lives with force. What had Dave come to deliver? And would it lead them further down the path toward healing or push them deeper into chaos? Dave stepped closer, the familiar contours of his face carved with worry. He took a deep breath, and for a moment, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was coming would be harder to hear than the truths Ryan had just shared. I just got a message from Mia, Dave said, glancing around as if assessing the eyes and ears around them. She wants to meet. She says it's urgent. Jack felt the blood rush from his face. Mia. The brand of her name stung, raw like a fresh wound. It had been years since he'd seen her, and the memories hit him like waves crashing on the shore. They once shared laughter, hopes, and plans. But everything changed when Ryan left. What does she want? Jack managed, his tone sharper than he intended. I don't know the details, but something about Liam, Dave said, his voice steady but carrying a weight that told Jack this was serious. She seemed upset. Ryan's eyes widened, a flicker of recognition crossing his features that mirrored Jack's dread. This is because of me, isn't it? Jack wanted to scream, to run, to hide from the swell of emotions that threatened to drown him. Mia was always there for you, Ryan. If she wants to meet, it must be about the impact all of this has had. Maybe it's a chance to explain, Ryan said, his voice barely a whisper. Maybe she has questions she needs answered. Jack's heart began pounding again. Could this be the moment where everything shifted? Or would it break them further? Or it could just open old wounds we're not ready to deal with, he said, feeling the knots tighten in his stomach. Jack Ryan stepped closer, desperation weaving through his words. I want to take back what I did, but I want to face it head on. If we avoid Mia, we're just letting the past control us. Is that what you want? To face the past? Jack challenged, surprise creeping into his voice as he met Ryan's eyes. Because I sure as hell don't want to dwell on it anymore. Each word ground against his heart like gravel. Then help me, Ryan pleaded. Help both of us. If Mia wants to talk, maybe she holds a piece of the puzzle we desperately need. The sincerity in his eyes was palpable. Jack glanced at Dave, who nodded, encouraging them with a soft smile. "We can do this, Jack. We're stronger together." Swallowing hard, Jack weighed their past against the promise of confronting a shared truth. The knots in his stomach twisted tighter, but slowly, the idea of healing began to seep into the cracks of his apprehension. "Fine, I'll do it. But if it gets too intense, we walk away," he warned, trying to stave off the hope that threatened to grow. "Agreed," Ryan said, relief washing over his features. They arranged to meet Mia at the park that had once been their gathering place, a green space full of laughter now shadowed by tension. The sun began to dip, painting the sky in hues reminiscent of the time when everything seemed easy. But nothing ever felt easy anymore. As they approached the park, Jack's heart raced with every step. Would Mia's questions pull them apart like the brittle strings of an old guitar? Or would they find harmony in the shared pain? When they arrived, Mia stood waiting by the old tree where they used to meet. Her face was a mix of vulnerability and resolve. Jack's breath caught in his throat. Would he see hope in her eyes or just a reflection of the hurt he had tried to bury? "Hey," she said softly as they approached, her gaze flickering between them, recognizing the mix of emotions flowing in the air. "Thank you for coming." Jack felt the weight of her words and the gravity of the moment. This was it. The truth they'd all been avoiding was finally at the surface. Would they be able to navigate through it together, or would it tear them apart for good? As Mia took a step closer, her voice trembling, Jack knew that the moment of truth was upon them. The question lingered in his mind, were they ready for what would unfold? Mia's eyes glistened with unshed tears, and Jack's heart ached at the sight. The memories of laughter echoed in his mind, moments they had shared like golden threads weaving their friendship together. Yet now, that bond felt frayed and vulnerable, hanging by the thinnest of strings. "Thanks for coming," Mia repeated, her voice weak yet firm, as if she were mustering every ounce of courage. "I know things have been complicated." "Complicated is one way to put it," Jack replied, his tone carefully measured. "We need to talk about everything that happened. Not just what happened to Liam but how it affected us all." Ryan shifted beside Jack, his expression somber, but there was a flicker of determination behind his eyes. "I know I hurt you, Mia. I let you down, and I've carried that guilt for so long." Mia's expression softened, a mix of sadness and acceptance played across her features. "We all have our burdens. You're not the only one who made choices that hurt others. I didn't handle things well either." But her voice trembled. "I need to know why. Why did you leave? Why didn't you reach out once things spiraled?" The question hung heavy in the air, and Jack felt the weight of Mia's gaze as she bore into him, seeking answers wrapped in years of silence. But Ryan spoke before Jack could gather his thoughts. "I thought I was saving myself, but it got out of control. Liam was spiraling, and I was so afraid of being dragged down with him that I shut him out completely." "Why didn't you tell me?" Mia demanded, her voice cracking. "We were friends. I could have helped. I didn't want to burden you with my chaos," Ryan admitted quietly. "It was the coward's way out. And I was wrong." Mia inhaled sharply, her face etched with confusion. "It feels so selfish, Ryan. It's not just about you. You made choices without considering how they impacted all of us." The tension around them shifted into something tangible. Jack felt the churning of old emotions, but he had a chance to speak too. "We all bear scars from that time. I lost people I cared about, and it took me far too long to realize you all were hurting too." Mia's voice softened. "I never meant to push you away. When everything happened, I was hurting too. It was easy to blame you and Ryan when the real enemy was that darkness." At that moment, Jack felt the first flicker of healing spark within him. "We all failed, Mia. We were all caught in that storm. But now we're here, aren't we?" She replied, raw honesty in her tone. "It's not too late to rebuild. But we have to own our part in this." Sarah, who had remained silent, stepped forward. Every one of us has made mistakes, but they don't have to define who we are now. We choose how we move forward. What is the plan, then? Mia asked, her eyes seeking clarity. What can we do to fix all of this? Jack felt a sense of resolve rising within him like the dawn breaking through the darkness. We start by talking. We talk openly about the hurt, the regrets, and our hopes. It won't be easy, but it's the only way to rebuild trust. Ryan nodded vigorously. And I'll do whatever it takes, even if that means facing every person I've hurt. I owe that to Liam and to you both. I think we could organize community meetings, Sarah interjected. A way for everybody to share their stories and grievances. To heal as a town. Mia, will you help us? Jack stared into Mia's eyes, sincerity radiating from him. You know this town. You know its heart. Mia took a deep breath, holding her emotions raw in the open. I would do anything to help. It won't fix the past, but it's a start. Jack felt a rush of gratitude course through him. They were taking the first steps toward recovery together. As a community. As friends. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows, but there was a warmth beginning to replace the chill of the past. Jack knew they still had a long way to go, but for the first time in years, he felt a genuine sense of hope blanketing him like a comforting embrace. I'm proud of us, Ryan said, a hint of emotion straining in his voice. They huddled together as dusk enveloped them, a unison of vulnerability and determination. Each was willing to embrace the difficult conversations ahead and heal the wounds that had long festered. And as they stood together, Jack thought he could see a spark of something bright shine through the darkness, the first tendril of a new beginning. Let us start by sharing our stories tomorrow night, Jack said, feeling the excitement reverberate through him. Everyone nodded in agreement, their resolve strengthening. Jack could feel the shackles of his past loosening, the road ahead still uncertain but filled with possibilities. Hope, after all, is often born in the ashes of despair. This is the moment for each of you, too. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on even more powerful stories coming your way. Leave a like now, because your support feeds the algorithm and keeps this community alive. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because it's time we all build a brighter future together. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your support means everything.